right? What role does symposium play and why is it important? There are these four verticals, these four themes or work areas. So every activity belongs to either of these four areas, and this is where symposium comes in. This is where the importance of this society lies. So first off, we've talked about deliberation, which is the core ethos of the society. So from the first youth parliament which we conducted in 2012 to our newsletter publications to Hindu Darbar to bilingual GDs, etc., etc., everything that we've discussed, the idea is to have a culture and to cultivate a culture of open and free flowing deliberation, right? You will join the college, you'll see that Delhi University, the campus space is very political and is very, some might even call polarized in a certain way. Societies like these and, open deliberative spaces like ours kind of try and provide a platform where people kind of keep their ideological, biases aside, come in with an open mind and talk. So, the idea is not to win a competition. The idea is not to win an argument, but the idea is to learn from each other, right? Secondly, public policy analysis and research. So, as I've already shared, we've this session we've dived into policy briefs. We will also be, trying to work on getting research papers published from our own magazine. We have not, from our own society, we have not been able to do that as of yet. We're also planning to begin our own peer-reviewed academic journal. So there's a lot which is, in consideration, which is under planning. Just like we started planning Hindu College Gazette 5 months back. So there are a lot of other things which we are planning for the rest of the session. So then serial publication. So one of the first serial publication that we have is Hindu College Gazette. So what is a serial publication, so to speak? A serial publication is a publication which is issued at a given frequency. तो हिंदू कॉलेज गजेट हमारी पहली serial publication है, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to be planning more of them. We can certainly have, as I've already said, we're planning an academic peer-reviewed journal which will focus on research surrounding social sciences and public policy, etc., etc. So the idea is to, enhance research culture, to provide a platform, because a lot of times what happens is that in public universities, these resources, these platforms can be hard to find. And this is something which we as third years have kind of grappled with in our own ways, which is why, we're striving to, provide a robust platform for research. Then comes college politics. There is a host of, I would say, a lot of myths actually. Some people think that we are the college parliament. Some people think that we can nominate the PM or etc. etc. There is a lot of discourse around that. But so anybody who's curious about knowing how we are really involved in the college politics, I would suggest just read this one paragraph. के बाद में जब elections होने होते हैं उससे पहले PM interviews और जो annual prime ministerial debate है, as Akshay has already pointed out, we conduct this, and these are non-partisan platforms. That is very important. We are not affiliated to any party. Uh, you know, it's been a lot of years since we've been conducting these two events, and a lot of candidates try and get people and try and sort of impose a particular ideology or this thing on symposium. But symposium as a society stays neutral. If you want to actively,
We put our signatures on paper. We submit
yeah,
applications where we state
neutrality
that during
forms.
this process, we will remain neutral to the entire election process. So that is something we really take pride on.
Exactly,
And
but that doesn't mean that you still can't, partake in student politics. And student politics is very important. और ये कहने का मतलब नहीं है कि आप student politics में हिस्सा नहीं ले सकते अगर आप हमारे society का part हो. But the only thing is कि उस 1-1.5 महीने के लिए आपको society से suspension लेना पड़ेगा if you are aiming to be politically active. अगर आप neutrality form भरकर भी politically active हो, और and I'll tell you why this is important. So we have the PM interviews, right? So if you go on Facebook and if you check the interviews that we take, they are very critical of the PM candidates. It's not that we're asking very very soft questions. We tend to go very tough, and we ask questions which actually matter, right? About their past
Questions that will
experiences.
make them uncomfortable, and the whole process is live streamed, so that
Exactly.
makes it even
It's
like a
completely
tougher
live stream.
job.
It's not like it's planned or anything. And the thing is, the whole challenge, which is the fact that the questions are not shared with the PM candidates beforehand. And what these PM candidates try and do every year is they'll try and solicit and get these questions. Okay, maybe I can change the get the questions changed. Maybe so if one candidate has some weird background, something in the past, so they'll try and get that question removed. So this is little ways in which they'll try and um, change perceptions, because the thing is that through PM debate and PM interviews, काफी जो लोग होते हैं, कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, they decide their vote based on that. Right? So the undecided votes till the last couple of days go to the candidate who performs well in the interviews and the debate. That is why neutrality is important, and this is where symposium plays an important role. कि आई एम नॉट श्योर कि आप सब में से कितने लोगों को पता होगा ये कल्चर जो दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में यूजुअली होता है. कॉलेज पॉलिटिक्स इज नॉट अ रियली disciplined, sophisticated academic space at all. I mean, if you hear the word academic and politics, they might sound a little contrasting to you. Um, so this is where we try, and through events like these, we try and create a platform where candidates can indulge in sophisticated deliberation, right? Okay, this is what I want to do for the college, this is what I want to do, right? The electorate, which is the college students, ask questions. All of this is something which is very unique to Hindu colleges culture. The fact that politics should be clean, should be sophisticated, and should be issue based instead of based on violence or something else. And I think this is where our society plays an important role. So these are major verticals. And as far as our events are concerned, um, so Akshay has talked about the Hindu Mock Indian Parliament. So we conducted our first mock parliament in 2012. However, in the last few years, we've seen that I think Akshay would agree with me. In this is our third year in the society, and we have experienced that there's a decline in the enthusiasm, the efficiency, the quality of deliberation which usually happens in committee simulations, um, and which is why we are trying to trying to adopt newer ways to kind of foster deliberation and public policy analysis, maybe through research papers, through policy briefs, through an academic journal, through a magazine, through GDs, etc., etc. Because we have seen the limitations which MUNs and youth parliaments perhaps can have. So if you think that symposium is a youth parliament or an MUN kind of a society, and the only thing that we'll do is take you to MUNs and ask you to win trophies, that is not something that we will be doing. So if you are interested in joining a society which focuses on MUNs or youth parliaments specifically, so that is not really who we are. However, if you're a person who is interested in learning new things, right, who is interested in talking in deliberation, and these are a host of a plethora of activities which we conduct, जिसके थ्रू हमारा ये मोटिव रहता है कि हम आप सबको, अपने जो हमारे मेंबर्स हैं, उन्हें एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड कर सकें through all of these initiatives.
Right? So what we essentially do is, and this is an autonomous activity we partake in outside of the parliament, where we engage with all the PM candidates for that particular year, right? So what we do is we interview them, and there is what we call a we have various panels for this, right? So each panel stands up they have different candidates every single year, right? So we interview them on the basis of the work they've done the previous year for in the general interest of all the members of the college, right? So that each and every member is informed. So that is something we do, and we scrutinize them. This is largely non-partisan. We try to be as morally correct in this process as we can, right? So we take a very neutral stand as a society, and that's how we work on the PM interviews. The second thing we do is the PM debate, which is attended by all the students of the college. And what we basically do is we give the PM candidates a platform to come and put their manifestos across, what their vision for the college is for the next entire year, what changes they want to make. And we let them put their point of views forward. And then we open the floor to all the students, whatever questions they might want to ask. This is attended by the principal, all the teachers, all members of the college. It is not open to students outside of the college. And this usually
Which kind
happens
of
in the
makes it
auditorium.
the biggest college exclusive event.
Yeah. This usually happens in the auditorium, but last year the auditorium was under construction, so we had to have it in our sports complex, which is essentially our field, right? The next thing we have is something that we've just started recently, which is called Colloquium. Now, colloquiums are basically seminars and sessions that we basically organize through different, like we speak to a lot of different people, and they come and they give, these are people who are exemplary in what they're doing. So it can be public policy, it can be international relations, it can be the pandemic, it can be anything and everything, right? So that is what Colloquium is usually about. These are 1 hour sessions where 40 minutes we usually have the speaker speaking, and then 20 minutes is a Q&A session, right? So that is what colloquiums are basically about. Amitoj, is there anything else apart from these 6?
Apart from this, we've also started off with policy briefs. So I think we can brief them about that. So as far as policy briefs are concerned, it is a new initiative. We did not have a lot of references for policy briefs because usually college societies policy briefs के ऊपर काम नहीं करती. Usually जो research organizations होती हैं, जो public policy के अंदर think tanks होते हैं, these are the organizations which essentially indulge in policy briefs. So what is a policy brief exactly? And how does it differ itself from perhaps a research paper or an article, so to speak, right? So in a policy brief, it is a very objective summarized way of presenting information regarding a certain policy measure. So it can be something related to foreign policy, government policy, कुछ भी हो सकता है. उसके ऊपर there is a particular format which the authors decide. But then of course the fixed pattern of the policy brief that you're working on also depends on the discretion of the authors. So depending on your topic, the format might change accordingly. So this is the first policy brief which we've published a couple of days back. It's by 3 of our members. Now this is about the 3 agricultural laws which have been passed in the parliament. Now, there has been a lot of contention around these, amendments. There are issues about, related to MSP. A lot of concerns have been brought up. So, in this document, Devanshi would also send these documents in the orientation group, so you can have a look at them side by side. So, herein, first off, we summarize what the issue exactly is, right? Then, within the introduction, one by one, we explain all the 3 acts respectively. So there's the Essential Commodities Act, there's the Farmers Agreement on Price Assurance Act, there's the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act. Afterwards, we delve into the major weaknesses कि क्या-क्या चीजें हैं जो perhaps इसके अंदर loopholes हैं which these policies have not focused on. जिसके कारण कुछ stakeholders have kind of protested against this, which is pretty obvious. Side per, usually briefs do not have this stakeholders reaction, but just to add context, right? So that the people who are reading know the context of what we're trying to discuss here. We've also added a short column wherein we're discussing how have different stakeholders reacted to this. So there are the responses of the Shrimani Akali Dal. There's Harsimrat Kaur Badal resigning. There are quotes from RSS, the move of the Punjab government and the Rajasthan government against these bills, etc., etc. And then finally, we come at the recommendations. So these are the recommendations, which are put forth by the authors, the three authors, based on their research. But as I've already discussed, कि policy briefs कुछ बहुत fixed और कोई firm वैसी चीज नहीं होती. एक पॉलिसी ब्रीफ फॉर एग्जांपल सिर्फ recommendations के ऊपर भी हो सकता है. So there are a lot of briefs which are done which are reformatory in nature, as in they suggest reforms only, or perhaps alternatively what a brief can do is only summarize what has happened. What we have done over here is a combination of both of these things to summarize what has happened, as well as what do we say in terms of recommendations, a critical analysis, so to speak, right?
Okay. So the Hindu Darbar is basically another venture we just started, I think 3 or 4 years back. It was started by our super seniors, where we picked up issues from the college, say issues like Nota or issues like the V-tree issue, the Virgin Tree Puja issue, and we invite basically the entire college, whoever wants to join us. And we also invite the PM, we invite the opposition, and we encourage students to put across their opinion. And on the basis of this meeting, we send across our report to the admin, right? And also the PM, right? So basically, it's a way for us to put across our opinions and our point of views regarding a particular issue that is general to the entire college. I think the first Hindu Darbar we ever had was on Nota, whether Nota should be a viable option or should it not be a viable option in the entire process of voting during the college as well as the university elections. So yeah, that is another venture that we have. Prateek, now thank you so much for the time. Thank you.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Prateek. I'm the editor-in-chief of the magazine Hindu College Gazette. And I think, so I'll just speak in Hindi, English, because I think we might have people from both languages here. So the Gazette is basically a magazine that we started recently, not very long ago. I think around September we started. And the idea is that, so basically it covers many different topics. So I'll just go over that and I'll tell you the kinds of articles. As you can see, the website is there. And yeah, I would really recommend you go check out the website and our Instagram page, because that will give you an idea about the kinds of articles that we cover. So topics mein agar jaise dekha jaye to most of the articles are about politics, and be it Indian politics or international politics, and public policy, some economics. We also have a section for history and culture and society and all those other things. So, and pop culture also. So काफी सारी अलग-अलग चीजें हैं, which I mean many things which you expect in a proper magazine. हम वो सब cover करते हैं अलग-अलग तरह से, and it is very interesting. And so our writers are not just from Hindu. We have people from, I mean, really across the country who have submitted articles. और हमने फिर रिसेंटली, तो पहले हम वेबसाइट पे ही डाल रहे थे अपने आर्टिकल्स, जो कि हमारी, और वेबसाइट बिल्कुल फ्री है, उस पर कोई पे वॉल नहीं है, तो कोई भी उसको एक्सेस कर सकता है. एंड देन उसके बाद वी स्टार्टेड अ मैगजीन ऑल्सो. सो वी मेड अ मैगजीन विच इज right now in physical, I mean in digital form only, because we can't distribute physical magazines right now. And yes, I think Amitoj will show you side by side the magazine. Yeah. So जो magazine था, so we decided that we'll come out with a magazine once every 2 months. Okay, so जो ये magazine थी, ये हमारी September और October वाला issue था, and we released that recently, and it looks very good. It has, I mean, a lot of different things, so you can get an idea of that. And so and then we also cover many different types of articles. So वो तो topics हो गए, जैसे politics भी है और history भी है, etc., etc. But also in types of articles, mostly it's analysis based. It's opinions हो सकते हैं या फिर analysis हो सकते हैं, and or they can be about, they can also be original reports, but that's something that we are not focusing on a lot right now because the colleges are closed and people can't meet each other. So doing reports is a little difficult. So right now we are focusing more on opinion pieces and analysis of different things. You can analyze a policy, you can analyze a law, you can analyze some, I mean, elections, kuch bhi ho sakta hai, many different things. You can analyze a movie. We have some pieces on that, and many different kinds of things that you can do. And because it is our own magazine, so we have a lot of scope for using our own creativity as well. And yeah, I mean, we can really make this into whatever we want to make it, and which is why we keep expanding it. So if you just, I mean, go through all these, you'll get an idea of what it is. It's basically a magazine that we are doing, trying to cover many different kinds of things.
With the staff writers, so we have regular pitch meetings. So that I think really differentiates the experience of writing. So within a pitch meeting, what happens is कि जितने भी writers होते हैं, they meet with the editorial board and then they discuss their ideas. Okay, what all have they seen around them, or what all ideas do they have? Once you join the society, you can work in design, you can work in editorial proofreading, etc., etc. So there is a lot of work which goes in here.
Editorials are written by the editorial board. So we have an editorial board comprising me. So I'm the editor-in-chief. There's Amitoj, Akshaya, and there are some other members also. So हम लोग and usually editorials के लिए मैं, अमितोज और अक्षय, हम लोग आपस में डिस्कस करते हैं कोई एक टॉपिक, and then we decide कि इस चीज के ऊपर editorial जाना चाहिए, and then we just discuss किसको लिखना है, and then one of us writes it. So editorials are anonymous because they reflect the position of the magazine on an issue. So वो कोई personal article नहीं होता है, वो पूरे magazine का एक position reflect करता है, which is why it's anonymous. उसपे किसी का नाम नहीं लिखा होता. And then we talk about it, and then we come up with an editorial. And also जितने भी writers होते हैं, not everyone has to agree with the editorial. That can never happen because we are many people, and then I mean, you can't agree on everything, but that's not the point. Editorials are written by the editorial board, but we also have mechanisms in which if you have some very major objection with something that has been written, we can discuss it among ourselves. And so that can happen. And apart from that, the method that we follow for writing is that we have regular pitch meetings, or pitch meetings ke andar the editors, I mean, three of us and all the writers, we get on a video call, and then we discuss the topics that the writers have in mind. So वो लोग उसको propose करते हैं, we discuss those topics, हम आपस में discuss करते हैं, काफी जो दूसरे writers हैं वो भी उसके बारे में अपने thoughts देते हैं, and then we try to, you know, form that into a working topic, and then the writers go forward and write their articles on that. And also, I think the editorial team is also very hands-on with the work that the writers do. While you will have freedom to write your articles, you can also reach out to us anytime and then discuss अगर कोई problems है, तुम्हें कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, or if you just want advice in how to write these things, because we are also trying to cultivate, and we are also trying to groom the next editorial board and the people after that, so that the magazine continues even after we are gone. So you can expect to have good feedback, and you know, you can be in touch with us all the time. So all those things can be done.
A lot of people in our own society itself who hadn't, you know, been writing articles itna frequently, lekin after we introduced the Gazette, so they have delved into writing, researching, or maybe designing. So these are new territories, or maybe website management. That is something very interesting, which you know, people usually do not think of delving into. But you know, through these platforms, it gives you a chance to explore these new avenues and perhaps learn a new thing.
So really think of it as a very good opportunity
Yeah.
to understand how writing is done for magazines, and it'll give you a chance to research on different topics and then write about them. And I mean, I think very few of us had any proper experience of writing before this. I had worked in DU Beat, I had written some articles, Amitoj had worked there, and some of our writers had done some other things, but many of us did not. And so yeah, just think of it as an opportunity. And yes,
Do we
Hindi.
have a
Yes,
writer
Yes,
already
you can
over
write in
here
Hindi.
from our
yes,
team
we can write in
who can
Hindi.
perhaps
Still in
Amya, would
DU
you
Beat,
like to
right?
like briefly talk about your experience, like what has your process been when it comes to writing?
Yeah, so hi everyone. So basically, I joined the society for the Gazette part only, but then I discovered that through the Gazette, only, I discovered other parts of the society. And so I felt that, we do so much of things at the society that it is like really important for a holistic development. Like if you join for the Gazette part alone, then you will also be learning how to manage a magazine and how to, like create the thing from its skeleton or framework itself. And then there are also other things like, like gathering the designers around you and instructing them and like trying to pass on your
Kind of
vision.
finding the best pictures, because pictures
Yeah.
can really make a lot of difference.
Yes. And also, of course, like working with the editorial board can be like really helpful if you wish to go into like some particular fields like publishing or towards the writing side, because you learn to, you learn the strings of the whole idea of the editorial board and how to go about with the editing and organizing of the magazine. And also what we have done at Gazette is very different from what you will go and encounter in department magazines or like the college
Society
newspaper.
blogs and stuff.
Yeah, because we have like we have tried to create one of those, what we were discussing was a kind of Harvard Business Review or something like that.
It's very ambitious, but we are unapologetically ambitious with our ventures.
So like from what I noticed of the skeleton that someone had sent to me of the magazine when it was half done, we took a proper like Word files, and on Word there are proper what do I call them, frameworks or something that are used for like professional magazines or something. So we used them to make the magazine. And also like the photography part was done so well. There was a lot to learn.
So, okay, there are a few questions. I'll just go through them one by one. Requirements. So, like I said, requirements. If you join the society and if you get into the society and if you express your desire to work in the magazine, you are most welcome to do so. अगर तुम आ जाते हो, उसके बाद तुम्हें क्या करना होगा? Then all that's a little flexible. इतना कोई hard and fast rule नहीं है कि एक हफ्ते में तुम्हें हर एक आर्टिकल देना है या वैसा कुछ. There are some, I mean, broad guidelines कि हफ्ते में एक आर्टिकल दे दो, but that also varies. If you are writing say for the magazine, और अगर हमें magazine एक date पे निकालनी है, then तुम्हारा deadline थोड़ा ज़्यादा strict होगा. If you are writing for the website and if your article is not very time sensitive, which means that अगर वो किसी एक specific news के बारे में नहीं है जो अभी recently हुआ है, then you can take some more time. So all those things can vary a lot. The basic idea is if you want to learn, if you want to contribute, if you have ideas, if you think you are a good writer, or if you even want to be a good writer and play your role, you are most welcome to do so. That's the only thing.
So yeah, I think it's a very wholesome process that we've created for each and every individual to grow in terms of their knowledge, in terms of your skill set, and in whatever sphere you might be interested in, right?
So exactly.
So, yeah,
and
Amit,
so
yeah.
No. So the
Pratik, go
question
ahead.
that So the question that's been asked here: do we have to go through discussion and deliberation? Yes, we do that, and the idea is कि it's a whole team process. So पूरा editorial team और जितने भी writers हैं, we get onto a pitch meeting. एक ऐसे ही video call होता है, and then we discuss these ideas. So we go writer by writer, and each writer proposes the ideas that they have. We give you some time in advance to think about some ideas and to, I mean, just form an idea in your head, and then we discuss them. We try to refine them. I give my inputs, other people give their inputs, and we try to see what can work best for the magazine. And then even while writing, if you want to discuss something, you are most welcome to do that. So yes, those things. So does magazine pertain to a single policy or issue? No, not at all. Like I said, there are many different topics. You can write on politics, you can write on Indian politics, you can write on international relations, you can write on environment, you can write on science, you can write on
Pop
economy,
culture.
pop culture, history and
review a
culture,
book.
society, book reviews, any kind of thing. So just go through our magazine, go through the website, go through the Instagram page, you'll get an idea. There are many different types of topics that we cover, and also you can subscribe to any view that you want, left, right, center, jo bhi hai, alag cheez, that's all fine. We just only have broad.
That's your opinion, and we
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
like scrutinize that at all. Like
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if, I mean, you agree with my view, I agree with your view. That's immaterial. वो article अगर तुमने ढंग से लिखा है, जो हमारे broad guidelines है, which is that it should be factual, it should be well written, it should be, and I mean all these things, these are understood, right? You can't spread fake news, you can't spread hate speech, stuff like that. But apart from that, जो भी तुम view लेना चाहते हो, you can take that. You have full freedom to do so, and that will never be a barrier in your writing.
as a member, how can you get involved? I hope my presentation is sharing. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Great. So how can you become a part of all of this? Like there are so many activities, there's so much. What is there for you? So you can learn, explore, experience research, of course, through policy briefs, through magazine writing. One article takes research. मैंने आपको एक policy brief दिखाया उसमें end में if you can see there are references. So all of those are the documents, the research papers, other policy briefs which our own authors referred to for that particular policy brief, right? So secondary research and primary research is something that you'll be working on. Public speaking is something I personally was not very good at public speaking when I was in my first year, even in my school time actually. I had stage fright, and by joining Symposium, of course, I've learned like a lot of other things. But one thing, which it has certainly changed in me is, I have lost that fear of speaking to a group of like 100 people or 50 people at one point in time. So, everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. While you consolidate and expand your strengths, you can also expect to work your weaknesses with us, right? Then there's magazine production. Now, this is a different thing in itself, as Prateek and Akshay have already, talked about a bit. The way we approach our magazine, Hindu College Gazette, is very different, we feel, and very unique, I might say, than most other student bodies and organizations. And, I don't want to sound uh, like, uh, I don't want to beat my own trumpet or our society's own trumpet, but our readers, and these are readers from other colleges. These are not our batchmates. These are not Hinduites, but people from Christ University, from Symbiosis, from Punjab University, from different universities and colleges across the country, who have been connected to us through this. These people are our subscribers. They have been writing for us, and they've told us that the first issue which came out, the September October issue, it does not look like it is produced by a student organization or a college society, so to speak. And some of them even went to the extent of saying that we should be charging for it, which is something which we wouldn't do. But which is just to show you the amount of enthusiasm with which the team works in all of this. So it is not just one blog which we have somewhere कि जब किसी का मन किया लिख दिया. It is deliberation के बाद, actual planning के बाद, there are timelines, deadlines in place, and based on that we work on all of this. Then there's design. It's very interesting because there is so much. So this PDF that you're looking at yourself, this is a design. So from this to designing the website, I mean, there are n number of things, from designing posts for Hindu College Gazette. If you're someone who has a knack for designing, who's interested in graphics and stuff, you can certainly do that with us as well. Then there's management and outreach. So this is something pretty interesting too. So you can help us with email marketing. So how you can help us with email marketing is, whenever we have our events coming up, there is an email newsletter, so to speak, that we can create through certain platforms. And so that's a different thing in itself. There is social media marketing and management. So you can help us schedule posts, help us improve the outreach of our social media platforms, because that is important. We are living in a digital social media driven age. And then outreach, what comes in outreach is our potential partnerships, right? We want to, and we are aiming to conduct more and more events, more and more, say, public policy competitions, so to speak, research paper presentations, etc., etc. Our website has been created on Wix, which is a free platform. So if you are someone who wishes to learn how to how to manage a website, etc., etc. You can certainly do that with us. And now, I think that is, I think we've given a pretty detailed brief about us. So feel free to send in your questions, like any questions which you might have. What do we have to do as members of the society?
I'll just
Members of the society. So I think,
I'll just
sure,
take
sure.
one question. Yeah, Ashutosh ka question tha, because it resonates with me a lot. If you want to pursue a career as a journalist or editor, would it be better to join Symposium or DebSoc or both? So I also wanted to pursue the same career, and because I am in both societies, I'll tell you that both of them are good, and both of them offer different kinds of things, but I think equally important things. So DebSoc will really sharpen your debating skills, and also, I mean, push you towards reading more and stuff like that, but mainly they would really sharpen your debating skills, which is of course important for something like a journalist. But also Symposium, with its magazine especially, will give you, I mean, a lot of opportunities to sharpen your writing skills and argumentation, and how you conceptualize topics and how you write them, deadlines, all that stuff, because you basically would be working in a very professional kind of an environment. So, and I mean, no society will tell you that don't join any other society. All of us would just tell you that this is what we do, and then it's up to you. Try both of them, get into both of them, see what works for you, and I mean, try to find out which one you think is suitable. But speaking from personal experience, I think both of these societies are very good for different kinds of skills. But I mean, yeah, both are important skills. So yeah, difference from DebSoc. So I'll just touch on this briefly because I'm in DebSoc also. So मैं दोनों में हूँ, but DebSoc basically
Yeah, please take this question.
yeah, DebSoc is basically a debating society, and I mean just that. So there's a specific form of debating which is called the parliamentary debate, and that's what DebSoc does. So parliamentary debates is a format. जब तुम DebSoc वगैरह के orientation attend करोगे, or I don't know if you have attended it or not, so you'll understand more about these formats. So that's a specific kind of a college debating format. उसमें भी दो अलग-अलग तरह के होते हैं, Asian parliamentary, British parliamentary, etc., etc. So that's that. So DebSoc will train you in debates and how to debate, the techniques of debating, all that stuff. That's that. DebSoc is only about debating, and they focus a lot on debating. They have 2 tournaments a year, and 2 very prestigious tournaments, in fact. So all those things are at that level. Symposium does many other things, which I mean was explained earlier as well. DebSoc does not do that, and Symposium does not do parliamentary debates. That's
Exactly. So
yeah.
if debating is something you're a diehard debating lover and you want to go to tournaments and win prizes and everything, so that is Symposium will not be taking you to debating tournaments, and neither do we claim to, hone your debating skills. So the kind of group discussions that we have, they're very different from a debate, so to speak, right? The pattern, the way in which the discussion flows is very different from a conventional debate, and so there is an intrinsic level of difference. I, for one, see that both societies are pretty different in what they do. My suggestion would be to just talk to your seniors, go through the website or the social media, whatever. Try and getting into both of them, see how it works. Like Pratik is a third year and he's in both the societies. So if a third year can manage, then of course first year certainly can. So that is a general note of advice.
Yeah, and in fact, if you want to reach out, because I mean, these kinds of questions, ये confusion starting में सबको होता है first year में DebSoc, Symposium, Caucus वगैरह के बीच में हमें भी था. So just reach out if you want, and I'll elaborate more if you have to. But that's the basic difference between them.
How would you be recruiting? So yes, this is an important question. We will be beginning with our recruitments about in a month. So what we will be doing in the induction process is that there will be a detailed application form. So through that detailed application form, we will be asking you a couple of questions about what your skills are, in what way would you like to contribute to the society, what all verticals that we have interest you the most. So we want to see how do you want to add value to our society, right? So after the form, there will be a group discussion. So within that group discussion, कोई जैसे हमारी society के अंदर group discussions होते हैं, it'll be a group discussion just like that. That will be followed by a personal interaction. It wouldn't be like a like a serious interview or anything. Our personal interactions are very free flowing, and it's like a discussion with the panel, right? So it's you and with a panel of 2 to 3 people, and कुछ आपके form के basis पे questions होंगे, and our aim is to kind of evaluate the members in a more comprehensive way, instead of just looking at how they perform in 1 minute ka 1 minute ka interview or something. We will look at your writing, and writing also, it doesn't mean how good words you use. It's not about if you have a fancy vocabulary or something. You can be writing articles Hindi में, English में. बात ये है कि how are your arguments structured in an article, right? And then of course enthusiasm to work, and how much you know about us. If you want to join a society, you should know about them अच्छे से, so that when you are interacting with them in the personal interview, you fully know what to expect, right? So that is something which we would want from all of our members.
So it's also, I think, to a
Symposium.
large, excuse me for, but to a large extent, it's also how much you're willing to learn. So
Exactly.
it doesn't necessarily mean how much you already know, but our interviews are not exactly like interviews. We want to understand where you're coming from, why you're saying the things that you're saying. Are you able to put your point across? And if not, then help you put that point across. Your opinions don't matter to us. Whether you're left, right, or centrist doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is how and why, and basically understand where you're coming from, and just have a very casual conversation about your form and your background, and make you comfortable with the processes of the society. You don't have to be exemplary to want to
Exactly, because
learn.
none of us are. All of us are students, and
Exactly.
I'm sure when it comes to public policy analysis, तो हम सब ने school public policy analysis is something जो even undergraduate colleges में नहीं पढ़ाया जाता. Usually public policy में masters होती है. So even in school level, we study civics and we study political sciences, but public policy is certainly something new. But the thing is, we just want to see if you have a desire to learn and to think, right? About government policies, about socio-cultural issues about you. So there has to be a desire to know, right? A desire to learn. Also, so there's one thing, is symposium not at all. Symposium is not at all only about articles. There is even some might say that the magazine might be all about articles, but even that would be wrong. Because magazine, maybe there is too much. There is designing, there is website management, there is proofreading. It's not just about, and talking about symposium in general, there are so many other things. There are GDs, there are what do you call, colloquium sessions, which we organize with people from specialists in different industries. So it's not at all only focused on articles. How will we be recruiting? So you can fill up the registration form. The registration forms are out. So in the registration form, we just ask you about your contact details. तो जब हम recruitment process के साथ, when we'll begin with it, we will reach out to you through those very contact details.
No, it's not. It's not an exam. It's not tough to crack. It is
not at all.
It is very nice.
We are very sweet people actually, and a lot of our we just do not conduct an induction process. We send out a feedback form wherein we take your feedback about us, about our interviewing style and everything. And we actually conducted the inductions for second and third years just ek mahine pehle. And people who did not get into the society have said that it did not feel like an interview or anything at all. And it's like there's something to gain even out of that interaction. And it's not hard to crack. Just come in with your mind open. Is symposium demanding?
I don't think it's a very demanding society, but in general, I think learning is a demanding process.
I mean, you
So,
have to be willing to put in value, right? And
yeah,
then, you can certainly manage. Akshay is the third
we,
year, I'm a third year. Prateek,
yeah.
as I've said, is dabbling, a lot of things. He's in DebSoc as well as Symposium. I work as the president of the Hindu College Square Collective as well. So there are a lot of other things. Even Akshay is doing a lot of things. So all of us are into a lot of other things as well as Symposium, which obviously can happen if the society allows it to do, right? Um, so, yeah.
Okay, so the question about caucus being different from symposium.
My thing would just be, just talk to the seniors. Both societies are great. Just like we conducted a youth parliaments, caucus has been conducting their MUN. Both societies conduct, group discussions, bilingual group discussions. They have had their own society ka blog, which is nice. They publish about socio-political issues. Even we on the other hand have had our own magazine. There is that one difference which I feel, because a blog is intrinsically different from a magazine production, right? The process, the way in which it is made is pretty different from a blog, so to speak. Um, like my suggestion would be to just talk to the seniors and see what's there. Does Symposium help UPSC aspirants? So, not directly, like it's not that we'll help you, in your curriculum.
We'll have knowledge sessions or we'll help you with GK. But in general, because of the nature of our discussions and how current they are, and it's not even about current, I think how vast our areas of interest and discussion is. For example, we'll be discussing the US elections, but at the same time, there will be another member who wants to talk about art history. Our
Yeah,
last president is now pursuing art history, in fact, as his master's. So, I mean, not exactly, but in general, I think the amount of knowledge that you gain from being in the society is massive. Another
and
question here is,
also just adding to that,
sorry, yeah.
so being a UPSC aspirant, you are getting into civil services, right? You're getting into public administration. So in that, of course, if you sort of delve into public policy analysis, that is a skill which would certainly help you. Apart from that, just one advice as a senior, not as me being the president of Symposium, would be to try and engage with as many seniors as you can. Talk to them about their societies, because some societies might be really good at marketing themselves to you in the beginning, that we'll provide you this, we'll provide you that platform. However, once you join them, you might encounter that the society is not very active, right? So they're not providing you with a lot of opportunities. In that scenario, and considering that, the best possible option is कि जो societies आपको interest करती हैं, just apply to them, see how they work, right? And then continue in whichever society helps you.
Another question here is, if we are not that good at a way to put our points, does the society help us get better? I mean, for sure, it helps you get better. Even during the induction process, I mean, we make sure that if there's a certain point you want to put across, but you can't find the means to do it, I think there's a certain means that we provide by poking at the same question again and again and asking different aspects of it. So we during the induction process, we're not interviewers, I would say, we're your seniors, and as seniors we want to help you and
We
we
want to
want to learn from
understand how
you.
you think, actually, and how there's this one idea that we're putting in front of you, and we're trying to show you different parts of it. How do you deal with it, right?
Yeah.
So the
So I mean,
frequency of meetings. So as of now, we've had around like 2 group discussions a month. It's not that you're having multiple GDs a week. It's not very tiring, so to speak. I mean, even third years with all of their classes are able to manage for our GDs. So, in terms of managing symposium with your academics, I don't think that should certainly be an issue. The group discussions are twice a month. We can increase, decrease the frequency according to however the society likes, of course. But usually it'll say two GDs a month. Apart from that, so for the HCG, if you are a writer for the Gazette, the pitch meetings happen twice a month as well. So approximately you can expect to meet your society members, I mean, once a week. I mean, that would be fair to say.
You should go look at our Instagram page for Symposium and for HCG. In fact, I think that's going to give you a lot of perspective in terms of how we as a society have transformed over the years. So I think
Right. And
that's
about all
going
of
to
our
help.
events, etc., etc.
Exactly. And our social media outreach, or how we'll help you, how you will help us, in fact. So I
Apart from
think
this, I think we also received a few questions in the registrations form, so I can maybe take them up. So one person asked that he hasn't taken part in a lot of MUNs in school. So can he join? You can certainly join, actually. Our focus is way beyond MUNs and youth parliaments. Yes, we certainly will be considering conducting a youth parliament. We are not very sure about it, given the nature of the circuit. But it's certain, conducting a youth parliament and participating in that is in no way our central focus. Okay, so another person asks, I'm not very good at public speaking and I'm very scared to express my views and visions in front of others, but I have an immense desire to join Symposium. Um, will my lack of confidence be a barrier to join Symposium? So, as I've already said, that I actually, came from a similar standing. I was not good at public speaking. I had stage fright. A lot of other people do as well. Um, but the whole point of having this this platform is to provide this space wherein you don't have to care about confidence, you don't have to care about if someone judges you or not, right? So to create that space wherein you can openly discuss your point of view, that is something which you can expect. So I mean, even if you have confidence issues, I think then you should certainly join Symposium. That is one place where it'll certainly help you. And I think Akshay would agree with that.
definitely, I think what we're trying to do here is create a very wholesome aspect of your social life in college. I don't think, we're not judgmental. We don't care if you're right, left, or center. We don't care about your background, about your schooling. We care about how much you're willing to learn and how much you're willing to give, and how motivated you are to better yourself as an individual every day. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if you never partook in any kind of public speaking or MUNs, or weren't good at writing, or aren't fluent in English. I mean, I think
Also,
we're
a
a
lot of
bilingual
these
society.
are markers of one's class privilege, right? So if you are from an upper class, if you are from a more socio-culturally privileged sort of social setup, then you are more likely to have experience in MUNs, in public speaking, debating, or ये सब चीजों में. If you are from a rather marginalized or a backward background, uh, it would be certainly tough for you to have prior experience in such चीजों में. Which is why we want to provide an equal space to all members. We don't expect members or prospective members to be perfectionists, but we want to see a keen desire to learn. Does the society give equal say to all political beliefs and ensure that students vent their ideas freely? So sure, I mean, I've already said a few things about this pehle. Even in the Gazette, people are free to write about their opinions, and opinionated articles are good because if you have an opinion, you believe in it thoroughly, right? It comes from a deeper place of resonance and understanding, but it needs to be backed by logic, of course. And even in our GDs, there are people from, like for example, if you talk about political parties and somebody supports this party, somebody supports the other party, and then even when it comes to writing articles, there is a whole diversity of opinion. And, we being the editorial board and we being the seniors swear by it. We do not censor opinions based on things that we personally do not agree. Um, does the symposium pass bills like the parliament and everyone has to follow them? So, this is something that we certainly don't do. We are not the parliament at all.
Guys, this is something that we'd really like to make clear, that even though on the Hindu College website they call us the parliament, do not go by the website. We've never been the parliament. We're not affiliated to the parliament. We don't care about the parliament. So please, there is nothing that we do is related to the parliament except the PM interviews and debates, but that is something we do as an autonomous body outside of the parliament. We also collaborate with Vivre for the live streaming, and but Vivre is the photography society of the college. So again, there is no parliament involved anywhere. Please.
Yeah. Will our past experience for youth parliament and public speaking be taken into consideration? Public speaking, yeah, I mean, like even when it comes to youth parliament, it wouldn't be that, yes, we'll select you just because you've participated in a youth parliament. Yes, that shows interest. It shows that you have interest towards discussion. And we will consider it along with a host of other things. What are the qualities that symposium wishes to see? So again, just a willingness and desire to learn, an interest in deliberation, public policy analysis, research, our activities as well. Can I be a member who solely writes for the society through policy briefs? Well, as much as we would like you to work in for policy briefs or for the Gazette and write for us, we do not like to compartmentalize our activities very strictly. So, as even one of our staff writers, Samya, has said that she joined, thinking about Gazette and then she got to learn a lot of other things. So, this is what we prefer, you know, and this is what we would like prospective students to also consider, that you might be good at one thing, but there's no reason why you shouldn't try something else as well.
See, college is all about experimenting. So now that you're here, you really need to try and understand what you're good at and where you're interested in and everything. So as first years, I would say just go wild and join any society that you'd wish to.
Yeah.
As I think all of the second and the third years would tell you the same. That just apply wherever you want to apply. So explore as much as you can.
So I think you can also send in other questions and we'll answer them. We have taken quite a few of them and we've talked for quite a lot of time with all of you. And it was lovely to have you all join us for this session. We will also put the link to this discussion in the orientation groups, and you can circulate it with your friends. I also suggest you all should fill up the feedback form, not the feedback form, the registration form. Yes,